Hello, Mike 10. This is Sterling 11 Bravo. Good effect on target. End of mission. Out.
It is an early morning in November 2025. Under cover of darkness, UK Commando Force elements move by Rick towards Luftwaffenstützpunkt Puttgarten, a military airfield beside the coastal town of Puttgarten on the island of Rügen in northeast Germany. The town, badly damaged during its capture by Tosca PMC forces, has been divided into 3 reconnaissance sectors: NAI Winter, Autumn and Spring. Just offshore, the ruins of an old Viking fort serve as NAI Summer, a coastal landmark used for navigation and observation. The airfield itself is segmented into 3 close air support engagement areas running north to south: EA Hammer 1, 2 and 3. These sectors will guide aviation during the assault. Intelligence places Andrei Popov, a security officer within Tosca PMC, inside the airfield's administrative compound. Tosca personnel are believed to have assumed defensive positions both inside the complex and across the surrounding approaches. The assault force, commanded by Major W. Scott, consists of elements from Royal Marines 40 Commando and 47 Commando. Weather conditions are favourable, clear skies, minimal wind, and perfect visibility for night vision systems. The operation is scheduled for 0400 hours, allowing insertion under darkness without environmental interference. Major Scott's plan divides the mission into 2 coordinated objectives. Strike Team 1 from Bravo Company, 40 Commando, will be inserted at BLS Charlie east of the airfield. Their objectives are to capture Andrei Popov and destroy key airfield infrastructure to render the site unusable to Tosca PMC. Once Strike Team 1 is inserted, 47 Commando will conduct a second lift, carrying Strike Team 2 to BLS Bravo on the coast near Altenkirchen, southwest of Puttgarten. Strike Team 2 will carry out a diversionary assault within Altenkirchen to draw enemy forces away from the airfield, and will destroy the radar array and nearby anti-air positions. After insertion, 47 Commando will dismount from their boats and assist directly in the diversion. Strike Team 1 and the company TACP come ashore at BLS Charlie under clear, dark skies. The landing zone is silent, no enemy movement is observed. Within the first minute, NAI Summer and the old Viking fort overlooking the coast is secured without resistance. Advancing inland, the commandos discover that Puttgarten is deserted. There are no civilians, no patrols and no signs of activity beyond debris scattered from earlier fighting. NAI Winter, Autumn and Spring are cleared in quick succession as Strike Team 1 moves through each sector uncontested. Not a single shot is fired. With the town secure, 1-2 establishes a base of fire on the shallow rise between NAI Autumn and Spring. From here they observe the airfield perimeter. Through night vision optics, Tosca personnel are identified moving casually near the edge of EA Hammer 3, unaware of UKCF presence. A brief incident breaks the calm. A staff car approaches along a narrow service road, its headlights cutting through the dark as it passes directly in front of Company TACP, Sergeant J. Rayskins and Marine J. Evans, both concealed in foliage near the roadside. The car carries what appears to be a Tosca officer. For a moment, neither commando moves. As the car rolls past and continues towards Altenkirchen, Sergeant Rayskins exhales. Fuck, that was too close for comfort. He transmits a sighting report to Strike Team 2, warning them of an officer headed their way. Marines on approach to Objective Latium remove the suppressors from their weapons, preparing to go loud, creating chaos and drawing as many enemies away from the airfield at Objective Roma as possible. The Ricks beach at landing BLS Bravo, unloading 2 sections of Royal Marines from Strike Team 2. As they move west through the woods, 47's 2 Troop dismount their boats to take up a supporting position. 2 Section establishes a base of fire at the tree line, covering 1 section as they move across an open field to a barn on the eastern edge of town. Under cover of night, the Marines remain undetected, the element of surprise still on their side. At Objective Roma, the company TACP makes a critical transmission. Objective Latium is still an AA threat. You are cleared hot on EA Hammer 1. I say again, cleared hot on EA Hammer 1. All others remain cold. However, due to radio interference, Flight Recruit Ace, on station for close air support, hears only, "You are cleared hot, cleared hot." Believing the AA threat is suppressed, He brings his AH-1 Wildcat into an attack run over objective Latium. As the TAC-P maintains overwatch near 1-2's position, the low thrum of the rotor blades grows louder overhead. For a moment, the team assumes an enemy aircraft is approaching from the direction of EA Hammer 1 and instinctively lowers their profile. But as the silhouette passes through clearer starlight, they identify the shape, a friendly Wildcat, not a Tosca platform. Watching it cross the airfield's southern edge, Sergeant J. Rayskins mutters to Marine Evans, "What the fuck is he doing here? Didn't we relay enemy AAA was still up?" Marine J. Evans replies, "Well, we did," before both of them look at the Wildcat as it disappears behind the trees, heading to objective Latium. Lieutenant Connolly whispers over the radio, "Right, I've got no idea how, but I managed to sneak my way onto this airfield." Contact erupts to Strike Team 1 southwest as the diversion at Altenkirchen begins. Hearing the opening burst, Lieutenant Connolly immediately orders 1-2 to open fire at the perimeter positions. A concentrated volley from their base of fire position cuts across the edge of EA Hammer 3 and the southern edge of the airfield, dropping several Tosca defenders before they can react. Under that cover, 1-1 moves towards a narrow breach in the airfield wall, slipping through into the interior. The company TAC-P breaks from 1-2's position and sprints to a second break in the wall to link up with 1-1. As the initial breach succeeds, 1-2 bounce forward from their firing position, slipping through the same access points. They push up behind 1-1, reinforcing the assault and clearing structures on the flanks as the Marines press deeper into the airfield complex. Sergeant Rayskins leads the breach on the first structure. Inside, he finds 2 unarmed Tosca fighters and orders them to raise their hands, but one pulls the pin on a hidden grenade. The detonation hits Rayskins hard, leaving him badly injured. He is pulled clear and rushed to the CMT attached to 1-1, who begins trauma care. At Latium, the situation deteriorates rapidly. As the errant Wildcat overflies the objective, AAA opens up on the aircraft and it tumbles to the ground in flames. The fireball puts defenders on alert to the impending assault. Major Scott's second-in-command radios in. "I'm looking at a guy through my thermals. He's just turned around and he's pointing his firearm at us." Scott confers briefly with 2-1's commander, Lieutenant D. Pete, before making the decision to engage. 2-2 pour rapid fire into the trench complex and radar installation, joined by 2 Troop, while 2-1 pushes up to occupy a ruined building overlooking the trenches. With 2-1 now providing covering fire, 2-2 hooks north along the tree line and bounds across the field to link up with 2-1 to provide overwatch, while Lieutenant Pete leads his section into an assault on the trench complex. In the brutal close-quarter fighting, 2-1 section takes heavy casualties. A grenade thrown by defenders kills Lieutenant Pete and his point man, Marine A. Enders, leaving the section in disarray. Reacting quickly, Major Scott pushes his section east to a berm that offers them clear arcs of fire before jumping down into the trench to rally the surviving members of 2-1. He puts in a radio call to 2 Troop, ordering them to push in from the south to assist. Troop Commander Sergeant N. Stone and his Marines cross the open ground to the trench line, entering the complex from its southern end. The fighting is fierce, but eventually Marines from 47 and 40 commandos working together clear out the trenches and push up to the first AAA site. 2-1 assaults from the east, while 2 Troop enters the site from the south. 2-2 attempts to assault from the north, but is pinned down by heavy fire and taking casualties quickly. The surviving section members are forced to pull back and hold a defensive position at the buildings as combat medic Marine D. Ty moves up to treat the wounded. As 2 Troop and 2-1 finish clearing the position, Marine D. Zeman, TAC-P combat communicator attached to 2-2 section, calls in a fire mission against the contacts in the west of the town. Mortar shells hammer the westernmost AAA emplacement, killing personnel and destroying fortifications. The fire, pinning down 2-2, abates somewhat, but Major Scott has just been made aware of a new problem. In the AAA emplacement and helicopter landing site to the north of his position, one of the mercenaries has been spotted holding a civilian medic at gunpoint. Knowing time is of the essence, Scott leads his section's Delta fire team north through the town's churchyard to coordinate a pincer attack. Marines Kane and Matthews will move up the west side of the ruined church, while Scott flanks around to the east. Rounding the western corner, one Marine fires a single shot, which strikes the captor in the head, killing him instantly. Delta Fire Team moves in to clear the site, recovering 4 civilian medics unharmed. The fire team pushes southwest, supporting 2 troops advance towards the third and final AAA site as the survivors of 2-1, along with 2-2's Charlie Fire Team, hold position and treat their wounded. 2 Troop pushes forward into heavy enemy fire from both the emplacement and nearby buildings. Suffering further casualties, the Marines fight on regardless. Sergeant Stone, out of ammunition, grabs an AK-47 from a fallen PMC to continue fighting. Meanwhile, 1-1, now supported by 1-2, is pushing deeper into the airport. They secure the airfield fire station and within minutes locate and capture Andrei Popov and establish a defensive perimeter. Sergeant Rayskins, stabilized by the CMT, returns to duty and begins coordinating exfiltration. Outside, the Marines find a helicopter on the tarmac, almost certainly intended for Popov's escape, and rig it for demolition. Moments later, a Tosca Tiger pushes towards their location, initiating a close-range firefight. The engagement is brief. Suppressive fire and several UGL rounds disable the vehicle, and a charge is placed on it to ensure it cannot be reused. With the area secured and all objectives complete, Sergeant Rayskins calls for exfil. The strike elements begin withdrawing from the airfield. As the Marines move towards their extraction routes, the company TAC-P declares the runway EA Hammer 2 hot, allowing CAS to strike the remaining airfield infrastructure. Precision fire impacts across the runway as the last elements of Strike Team 1 break contact. Once the final Marine steps clear of the battlefield, the TAC-P sends the last transmission. EA Hammer 3 is hot. Objective Roma is a success. At 2-1's holding position, Major Scott finally receives the news he's been waiting for. Strike Team 1 has completed its mission and exfiltrated safely. With 2 AAA sites destroyed and the third likely crippled by artillery, he orders 2 Troop to collapse back to 2-1 and the strike team begins its withdrawal. As they fall back towards the boats, an Mi-8 lifts off from the northern landing site. They engage it with anti-tank weapons but score no hits. As it passes over the horizon, Scott puts in a call to Joint Aviation Command, clearing them to engage. Flight Lieutenant Tobias spots the enemy aircraft from the cockpit of his Wildcat and moves in to engage with 20mm gun pods, scoring an easy kill. The action on Objective Latium has been a success, diverting Tosca forces away from the airfield and allowing Strike Team 1 to crater the runway. However, the victory has come at a high cost. 5 commandos, Lieutenant Pete, Marines Enders, Bloomer, Phoenix and West, have been killed in action.